Welcome back to Bible in the News. And this week is a very favorite subject of mine, food. And let's ask the question, should we be boycotting Chick-fil-a? Well, I just drove by Chick-fil-a on my way down here, and obviously the boycott isn't having that much effect because there was a long line there. Hey, several years ago, actually 2 or 3 years ago in a Bible in the News, we talked about the top companies that were successful in the United States that were founded on biblical principles. And one of those companies, not only Hobby Lobby and Tyson Foods, but one of the top ones, and I just heard that they're third in the nation in sales, and was Chick-fil-a. And Truett Cathy founded it back in 1946. And I just want to tell you what the mission and vision statement, remind you what the mission and vision statement is. Because if you go to Chick-fil-a, you can see it on the wall. And that is to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that is entrusted to us. And to have a positive influence on all who come into contact with Chick-fil-a. Well, I'm sure that you were shocked, as I was a few days ago, when I read the headline that said, Chick-fil-a caves. And I thought, oh wow, what is this? So I read the article, and then read in the article and the comments after the article. And then I read some of the politicians who immediately stepped up to the stage, and some pastors and leaders of movements stepped up to the stage and blistered Chick-fil-a. And I thought, wow, I think there's something more to this, and I think I'm going to wait a few days. And boy, am I glad I did. And I want to thank Franklin Graham for a call that he made to the corporation and asked them. And it explained to them, to Franklin Graham, that all they did was make some adjustments in who they support and levels of what they support, and focus their support. Well, I understand that. Salt Lake Christian Center has done that several times in the past several years and moved support here and to there. Kathy and I have done that personally. I understand that. I think what we need to understand is that this corporation is living in a glass house, and any move they make will be interpreted in a way that is positive towards their enemies. And the sad part for me is listening and reading people that I trust and love and read and listen to, and listen to them immediately when this came out, because they're the ones telling us, don't believe the media. And then all of a sudden, when it's about Chick-fil-a, immediately they believe it and get out the swords and go chopping heads off. And that's sad to me. That's sad to me on several levels. But one of the levels is that, you know, many of us that are my age grew up in an era where we were defined by what we were against more than what we were for. And boy, some of us had to walk some pretty deep paths to get out of defining myself as what I'm against and not what I'm for. And I decided that boycotts don't help anyway, and I don't want to be against. I want to be for. And what I want to be for is the mission of Jesus Christ. The mission of Jesus Christ is to share the gospel. Now, listen, there is an agenda-driven group out there that is agenda-driven, and they have their agenda. And and we can, you can get in a battle with them. You're never going to win. It's never going to win. But the majority of people out there aren't wanting to discriminate against anybody. They just want to share the gospel of Jesus Christ and how he's given that to them. And so it's strange to me that you don't believe the news media, but all of a sudden if it's Chick-fil-A, you do. And I thank Franklin Graham for calling the corporation and the corporation explaining exactly what they're going to do. In fact, it sounds biblical to me because Matthew chapter 18 says, if you have an offense, make a phone call. Before you tell everybody else, make that phone call. And let's not be defined by what we're against. And our rage, this rage and anger in this society, it needs a positive message. And I can't imagine how difficult it is to lead a corporation in this environment that is founded on biblical principles. And I would hope that this is not the time that Chick-fil-A is taken down, not by its enemies, but by its friends. I'm hungry. I'm going to go get a Chick-fil-A, and I'm going to take a sweet tea home to Kathy. God bless you. See you next week. Bible in the News.